Hey, here we go once again. Setting it straight with fam. Here I am with my boys, Joshua and Jordan. Here we about to make it, man, we about to set this thing straight today because, whoo, last week was something else. Them boys did what they wasn't supposed to do. They got a W because we all thought that wasn't going to happen. Of course, everybody thought that was going to happen because, they got those Cleveland Browns, man, that the defense supposed to, you got that defense supposed to shut us out, man. And nobody thought that we was going to do anything coming. We got to pay Dak, we got to pay CD, all of this stuff. Micah Parsons, all of these things everybody was against us with. They said we wasn't going to get it done. But you know what we did? You know what we did? You know what we did? We got it done. You best believe it. And I know we're gonna have some different ways of how we thinking about them Cowboys, man, because you know, new defensive scheme, coming on here, man. I mean, but I you have to admit, we really didn't know. We really didn't know because we got a lot of the pieces coming that wasn't together with us last season and coming together. We wanted to see how it come out. We got the Zeke who coming in. We don't know if we're going to see the old Zeke, the new Zeke, the middle Zeke, the lost Zeke. I don't know, some kind of Zeke. But we found a Zeke that looked like he was coming to play some game. Like he was coming to play ball. And how our defense is going to measure up. So I mean, there's a lot of things that's coming up. Because we didn't worry about Dak. Nobody was worried about Dak. I wasn't worried about Dak because Dak is Dak. Dak is good, and people always say, "Well, it's in this regular season, Dak is great in regular season." I really can't argue with that too much, but it is what it is. But what I'm saying. But we wasn't worried about Dak. I wasn't worried about the offense. We were worried about that left tackle because he was up against a beast, and and that was kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? But he made it through. So based on that, Jordan, looking at how we mount up against the Cleveland Browns last week, based on how people were talking about, man, what you saw, and if there's anything that you saw that gave you some hope, saying that we about to do this, or it's just one game. What you got? Come bring it.
I mean, there's a lot of good to take away from this game, and there's a lot of question marks taken away from this game that I still have question marks. I think that we all. I'm gonna have to disagree with what you said a little bit earlier about how we thought Dak was gonna do. Dak, I didn't know. I didn't know what Dak or the offense was gonna do. I actually was quite impressed with. Well, I guess we'll say Dak was Dak, but everybody else around Dak, how would they look? How would the center look? How would your new left tackle look? How would Still look? Second year coming off of his injury. There are so many questions. How are the running backs going to look? There's so many questions. CD did not train. He held out all training camp. And then barely got his contract. So how is he gonna look? Tolbert, he didn't really have much of a preseason. They saved him all game. How is he gonna look? There's so many questions with that offense, and rightfully so. Same with the defense, new defensive coordinator. Mika Parsons wasn't at OTAs, but he was at training camp. That was a talk of contention. Having no depth at any of the DN or the defensive tackles or DNs, not having depth, not knowing where those other sacks were going to come from. The corners, Bland going down. Now we have this rookie out there, Caleb Carson. Linebackers. This is our fresh new linebacking core. How are they going to look? There's so many question marks all around the board. Like, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Not even getting into the Dak and his contract talks. Jerry Jones playing hardball. Or we all knew, and I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like, this happens. Like, Jerry Jones holds out all the way to the last minute and ends up paying his guys. Like, I think we talked about it briefly with CD. Like, why is CD holding out? Like, he's gonna get paid. They always get paid at the end of the day. That's why I didn't like him missing training camp, because when has Jerry not paid his guys? But whew, that was a mouthful. That was like a quick summary of where my mind was at with the game. But what did I take away? What was the question again?
The question was, did you have anything? Did you have anything that it make you feel that there's a hope? Because I know in the beginning of the
Okay.
episode, if you go back 2 episodes podcast,
Yeah, I said
we
we had
had
5 wins, so that was no hope.
we had 2 people on there that did not give more than 6 games. We there was a 5 and a 6. So I just want to know, have you found anything that's different? That's all I'm going to ask you. That's it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike Zimmer. Yeah, Mike Zimmer is hope. Mike Zimmer is the new hope. You can place your bets on him having this defense look better. I was wondering where those sacks were gonna come from. Hey, he found a way to get D-Law sacks. He found a way to get linebacker blitzes, and linebackers are getting sacks. I don't even know how many sacks our linebackers had last year. I don't if they had any. They're coming all over the place. Marshawn Leland looking like he has a year under his belt just after the first game. Yeah. Mike Zimmer had those guys ready. Carson out there looking like he's been playing in the league, jumping routes and everything. So I do think there's hope with this defense. I didn't think there would be. I know we talked about the D line being 20. Josh saying they're like going to be like the 20th best. I said they're probably going to be around 12. They're looking like they're top three. The secondary is looking like top five, if not top three, if not one. Um, and the linebacking core is like everybody's playing like they're hungry, like they have a spark. Kendricks is out there. Shout out to Kendricks because I was saying let's go younger and put some other guys over Kendricks. But he's got there. He's being a leader. He's being that guy. Hats off to Josh, who's been giving nothing but praise to Kendricks. But Overshawn, did not expect Overshawn to play as well as he did. That boy was balling out of control. Like you got a Mika, and then now you got an Overshawn that looks like. So it was, that defense was just very impressive, very, 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 very impressive. Very good, good first start week one. And I think a lot of it has to do too with preseason and them getting a lot of reps together. But yeah, that's my take. I don't know what you thought, Josh.
No, that's pretty good. Yeah, go ahead, Joshua.
Um, you know me, I'm always the wet blanket of the room, right? So, um, with this,
Did you say a wet blanket in the room?
He's a wet blanket. Yeah, he's the
oh
wet
yeah,
blanket.
Okay.
all
All
right.
right, go ahead. Go ahead.
So
He's about to
basically,
bring it
look,
down.
yeah, sure I am. So, um, this all this taught me is it was one game, right? We had yes, it was a very impressive defensive outing that the Dallas Cowboys displayed,
And
right?
special teams.
And special teams, you're right. However, we have to, with the caveat being, right, offensive tackles on the Cleveland Brown side, both the left and your right tackle were backups, right? So take for that what you will with that. Yeah, they had a lot of pressures, a lot of sacks, because they were supposed to have a lot of pressures and a lot of sacks when you're having 2 linemen down, right? Good job for that. Little sloppy. Great win. Also, congratulations, Dak Prescott, getting that deal. But the offense is a little bit sloppy, right? It was subpar for Dak standards. And, we get it. It's the first game, right? He was missing some routine throws that he normally makes.
Is that Dak's fault?
I would say a couple of the throws was. There were some that were drops, and right. And he even told the media this week. He was like, "Look, there's a difference between the first game and the second game." So he's hoping, and I think he said they're going to have a better showing. I don't know. That remains to be seen, right? With that being said, as far as hope goes, there's still a big fat question mark, right? Yes, I liked what I saw from Dak. As far as seeing the field goes, like he saw the field, right? Now, were the receivers helping him at all at times? You're talking about, like, I think he threw for some of the most tight window throws last week I think it was recorded that he threw one like top three, or like if not the top, as far as tight window throws that he had to, and that's not really on him. I mean, that's on the receiver, and it's also on. I think you guys are not gonna believe when I say this, the play caller, right? So it's on the play callers. It's up to him to get your guys open and stuff like that, right? So we'll see what happens. I like the fact that they did a lot of motions and stuff like that in the first half, and it just seemed like they kind of went away from it in the second half. I don't know why, but it's neither here nor there. And you have to also give a credit to the defensive coordinator too for redirecting and um, reassessing the situation on the Cleveland side. So, but there's still big question marks, right, on your left tackle and what do you call it? Your center, which is Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton. So that's what I got. I just have a big question mark for that.
Um, I would say Cooper Beebe actually played well. I would give him a B in this game. Like
Oh, I mean,
that D line
go ahead.
is a really good D line. I think if he can handle that D line going forward, he should be fine. Guyton, I think should be fine too because he's not gonna face a Miles Garrett every week. And the guys that weren't Miles Garrett on the Browns, because they're still a really good pass rush, he did really really well against. But I 100% agree with you. I still think the Achilles heel, like, think about it. Think about how Dak got his first touchdown. He had to get it off of a missed a read by his O line. I don't know what the play call was, but a blitz came through and he just did Dak things and got the ball to Cook because he threw that ball out before Cook even broke on his route. And so Dak did Dak things. So that's the thing. Like this team is still gonna go wherever Dak goes, regardless of your play caller. If Dak isn't playing a exceptional and clean football, I still think that's the Achilles heel. This play caller, even though he did some things that earlier in the first half, was actually impressed with a lot of the formation setups with Hunter Lipke out there and them running out of I can't remember what formation was, or running different plays out of that one formation. So when Hunter Lipke got the ball or Zeke got the ball or Dak, play action or threw out of that formation, it wasn't predictable. But after that, he kind of left it like you said, Josh. It got super stagnant, and it didn't seem like Mike McCarthy did anything, to pick up the light of fire, get the ball rolling with the team. That kind of scared me. Like it was like, oh, if Dak isn't pushing this offense, regardless of the scheme, like if it's not like if Dak's not doing every little thing to make this team better, you're gonna I don't know, like you get what you got in that second half. And then his clock management, I still got an issue with that when he had a chance to go to put up 3 points and he let the kicker get a delay game. I was like, come on, man, how are you still doing this? And you've been the coach 3 years now, and you're still getting delay again. Like you're right there. Like call the timeout with the ref. Like what are we doing? And then pretending you're gonna kick a 70-yarder. Like, yeah. That Mike McCarthy, man.
What you
McCarthy.
um going back to I can't touch you with when you're talking about those the way the mindset of McCarthy on some of those plays. It comes with the territory. That's who he is. Certain things we just not going to get past. I just hope that in upcoming games that those things won't hurt us to the point that we don't get a W. I mean, we got a lot of wins in past season, with him calling plays and whatever the case is. So I'm gonna try to look on the bright side of that and saying hopefully McCarthy will come through and make some more heads up than bonehead plays. I'm just hoping that he does, because he never to me was ever, and just like you're saying, Jordan, he's never been a clock management hero. I mean, a genius. He never have. So these are the things that we gonna have to say. Well, that's who he is, and hopefully that they can go beyond all of that. But when you talk about that first touchdown that Dak did, you didn't think that he saw that blitz come in and saw Cook in the backfield, or because you made it seem like that was something like that was a mistake that happened, and he just happened to just sling it up there at the last minute or whatever the case is.
I think Dak knew the blitz was coming because they didn't really disguise it. I mean, they could have bailed out of it, but they were showing a 7-man blitz. The reason I said they made a mistake, or the O line made a mistake, um, because if when you go back and look at the film, um, Tyler Smith and Cooper Beebe both attacked the same. I believe it was a D tackle. They both pick up a D tackle, and that runner goes free into Dak's face and kind of made him rush that throw. But Dak, being Dak, I believe he already knew that blitz was coming, and he just went and threw the ball before Cooks even turned his head, even broke on his route, did anything. It was already there, sitting there waiting for him.
Right. See.
So that's what I'm saying. And
No, I look at that as the greatness of a good quarterback. That's what I do because you
yeah,
throw
that's
before
what,
your guys say.
no, yeah, it
Okay,
definitely
all right.
is.
I just wanted to make sure that.
It,
Go
oh
ahead.
yeah. It definitely is the greatness of Dak. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's the greatness of Dak. He got that touchdown. Like it wasn't. I'm saying Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy didn't scheme that
Oh, it,
touchdown.
it didn't come
I
out of
mean,
Mike
maybe he
McCarthy
called.
book. Okay, got you.
Yeah, I'm saying Dak has to do this to get that touchdown, and that's what I'm thinking is. And on top of that, he got away from the run. Like he was doing all these sweeps, and that's another thing. Like sweeps are cool. He did a lot of them. So I liked them and I didn't like them at the same time because I'm like, you're doing a lot of sweeps. And I think he took that out of San Francisco's bag too. Like he watched San Francisco do that last year with Debo, and he's like, oh, let me get CeeDee Lamb the ball. Let me get my playmakers the ball in some sweeps and get them rolling. But I think he did it a lot in trying to disguise the fact that he doesn't have a run game or running backs. That I figured that I took as he didn't have confidence in his running backs to go get those yards instead of doing like I think like 6 sweeps. Um, and so that was another thing too. And then you kind of got away from it towards even though it might have came out that way where it looks like it's balanced. In my eye test, I didn't feel like the run game was balanced. I know the run game is never going to be balanced because Mike McCarthy, at the end of the day, he's always going to go to what he knows best, and that's throwing the football. He's going to want to throw it, even though his throwing schemes, his pass game schemes are kind of outdated. So when I do see his stuff like the formations that he did have in that week 1, let's see how long because game to game it changes too. So the good stuff that we've seen in this game, are we going to see it in next week's in tomorrow's game versus the Saints? That's to be seen. So also the inconsistencies with his play calling. So yeah, like this sounds like we're turning into bash Mike McCarthy, but this is like the underlying stuff that comes up later on towards the end of the season in the playoffs that matters. Like when Dak gets in sticky situations, how is he going to help Dak play? How's he going to help Dak get out of those situations, and how is he going to make the other players around him? Because think about it, on that offense, who were the stars on that offense? Not even excluding special teams and and the defense. Like when you just sit down and look at who gave you, you know, that that big playability, who did anything special. Like I can't name anybody outside of Zeke looking good, but we're just saying that because we thought Zeke was going to be looking like he was running in sand. So Zeke looked good, but nothing he did necessarily was like, wow, all dropping. For everybody on the team, outside of maybe I give kudos to Cooper Beebe. Like, oh wow, yeah, like he did really good for a rookie, and maybe still, but that still is like not like,
I don't know.
oh man, it
I
was
did.
so Dak.
I did see CD catch a ball that I thought was highlight highlight film ready. That one he caught on the right, over his right shoulder. That was an awesome catch. Now he did miss one, almost the same thing, but
He
you
missed
know,
like four.
right, but I'm just saying though, I did got a glimpse of something good. But talking about Martin, and so Joshua, because I know you like to protect our coach, our head coach. And so, what did you see, and what do you think going to coming into this next game? And I'm not, which we're going to talk about later, but just based on McCarthy, what do you think? What do you saw with McCarthy, and do you think he's going to get it together? Go ahead.
Um, I mean, that just depends, right? I mean, I don't think that the Saints defense is as, how should I say, they
Willing
don't
to
pose
push him
as,
to do something.
yes, right? They're still formidable, right? But I just
Yeah,
don't think that
yeah.
they're as formidable as you would see in the Cleveland Browns, right? Your Cleveland Browns has, not only they have great, how should I say that? Cleveland Browns have a great D line, and then they have a great secondary, right? By secondary, I mean by like they have really really good corners, right? And it's kind of like they remind me of like the Dallas Cowboys last year, if you will, right? In the regards of like, hey, like Dan Quinn was like, look, my guys are better than your guys. It's up to you to see if you can beat them, right? He puts them into the spot where they'll like succeed the most at the position where they'll succeed the most at. Okay, like, oh, you're really good at like defensive end on this side, so we're gonna put you on this side, with the exception of Myles Garrett, because he's like, I'm gonna put him all over the place, right? But as far as disguises and everything like that goes, they won't have as many disguise. Now, Joe Wood on the other hand, he's the defensive coordinator for the Saints, and so he's like a blitz, like a exotic blitz type guy, right? He's like the Rod Marin, like the new age Rod Marinelli, right? All these exotic blitzes, if you will, and also the fact that excuse me, uh, the you have Marshawn Lattimore, but what they're saying now is Marshawn Lattimore is probably not even going to be playing,
Yeah, Marshall. Yeah,
which is pretty good. So like,
say.
I mean, so I think you'll see the offense open up a little bit more. The offense wasn't open up as much because you had to help Tyler Guyton, right? And so you had to put a tight end on that side. But then again, now that Jake Ferguson's injured, who knows what they're going to do? Are they going to put Lipke up there again, or are they going to put Schoonmaker, right?
It would have been nice to have Hendershot.
No, we would probably have drop passes again, but So all I'm gonna say,
not more than Schoonmaker.
Hey, that's your guy right there. But the only thing is, I'm gonna say is that I think the offense will open up a little bit more this game, and I think that they'll have a little bit more time to throw. But he does get like Joe Wood. It blitzes pretty much most of the time, and you're pretty much going into Dak Prescott's hand, because Dak Prescott's probably he is the best player when it comes to blitz, so, and pressure. So good luck with that. I think they should, statistically speaking, should fare well with that, but we'll see, because this is going to be another test for Tyler Guyton. Terrence still played well though, so we'll see. And I think that they're going to have a better running offense too. So perfect game for Dak will probably be like, 20, 25 passes, or 25 to 30 passes, right? But we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Probably not. And yeah.
I mean, they like Jordan was saying earlier. I mean, even though the numbers look like they was pretty balanced, but I didn't like the kind of run plays that they actually were pulling off. Although they ran a few more than I was shocked that the run game was, the numbers show that we ran only like 45% of the time, which is almost half, complete balance in a sense, percentage wise. But although we did, I didn't like the type of runs that we were doing. It seemed like we weren't getting anywhere. It seemed like they wouldn't change it once you see those players wasn't getting there. Um, but here's the thing though. What I was noticing, and you were saying Jordan said there was no one that was stood out. I thought Mika Parsons stood out. Even
I'm
though,
talking about offense, not defense.
oh, got you. All right, cool. All right, you should be staying there then.
Defense, yeah, defense. We can talk. I can talk all day about how good the defense looked like. Mike
Right.
Zimmer made Mike McCarthy look bad.
Based on offense versus defense, you mean?
He's a Myles Garrett did?
No, Mike Zimmer made Mike
Mike
McCarthy
Zimmer.
look bad.
Oh yeah. How?
Just by how prepared he had his guys look, just about how everybody on every level, you could literally go to each guy and say what they did well and how good they were. I mean, the stat sheet shows it. They stuffed everything. Like, we had issues run stopping. Mike Zimmer nipped that in the butt. They had tackles for loss behind the line of scrimmage. They couldn't do nothing with their run game. We don't have this depth of guys being able to rotate and get sacks. Well, who's going to step up and get those sacks? So you had Kendricks, you had Overshawn, you had Mika Parsons doing what he does. You had D-Law having 2 sacks.
Well,
you had Marshawn Nealon getting it.
I don't want to give McCarthy too much play, man, but he was up against the number 1 defense, man. I mean,
He was.
and to come out to what he did, with rookies on the front line with Myles Garrett and the boys. I mean, it's not like he had to write some type of a scheme to get across those monsters, man. So and they did well. So I can't bash him too much. I can't bash him too much. You know what I'm saying? Look, when I say he did well, Myles Garrett didn't take over
your
the
defense.
No, Myles Garrett didn't take over the squad. He did not take over the offense. That defense did not shut us down.
They shut us down in the second half. They kind of shut you down in the second half.
Okay,
Their offense just couldn't get nothing going.
Well,
because they got really stagnant in the second half, and this is the type of stuff that we talk about. This is literally if they had a competent offense, or if they were able to battle and get this game tight. Like those certain things, like Mike McCarthy getting real stagnant and not being able and good clock management, not being able to get that 3.
Right, those things will matter. Those things will matter. You're absolutely right. But still, regardless of that, you still have to say that they weren't playing against the number 15 defensive squad. So you still got to give him something. I'm not saying give him the world. I'm not saying let him off that stool we put in the place him on.
I'm sorry, I'm not giving him nothing.
I have to give him something.
I didn't see anything that he did that was like, oh wow, Mike McCarthy.
Well, he helped his left tackle.
He
helped his left tackle really well because that left tackle was a hole, man. A rookie against the best.
Left tackle.
What?
The left tackle, Josh said off screen that he gave the left tackle a D. I said I gave him a C. But it wasn't like he was Myles Garrett had his way with him. It was all the other guys.
That's pretty much what we give you a D,
Myles Garrett had his way.
Like doesn't mean anything bad about him. But it just means Myles Garrett is that good of a player.
Yes, and he was doing he did okay versus the other guys. Like there was a couple times the other guys got the best of him. But going forward, that's overall, great that he got in his pocket. Yeah, overall, I'm saying like Mike McCarthy to me didn't do anything. Like everything that happened, like I feel like it was the players that just took control of the game. It wasn't a 50-50 balance of I schemed this and I schemed that. It was you called these regular plays and they went above and beyond to get the job done.
Well, I mean, I
Like
don't say
Zeke coming
it
over.
was a secret that he had to. It was a scientist outbreak for him to go over there and send somebody a tight end over there to help the left tackle. I'm not saying that was something like, man, I didn't think that was very brilliant for him to do that. I mean, it was one of the things he had no choice, right? But still,
some plays he didn't even do that.
But okay, well, I mean, that's what time he left him over there. But
Zeke had to come across the body and put his helmet inside of Garrett.
But like, you have to right. But we have to change some things.
Like,
we can't
that's
do
the
the
stuff
same.
I'm talking about, though, Dad. That's the stuff I'm talking about, Dad. Like, you had Zeke on the other side of him, and you had Myles Garrett right here, one-on-one with Guyton. Instead of just putting Zeke, Zeke had to come across body and go and put his helmet into him. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, because structurally, you're not putting your players in the right position. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't give him no credit because, to me, the players played above and beyond. Now, what happens when the players just don't have it that week? What is he doing to get them over the hump? To me, it's always the players, then the coaching scheme. Like, it's never even, or it's never Mike McCarthy's scheme over the team. Like, he's leading the scheme to put them to the finish line. Like, we just saw on the defense what happens when a great scheme is paired with a great defense. Like, he's got ballers. It was shut down. Like, it was crazy. Like, even with Dan Quinn, we didn't see this type of. We saw dominant games, but this one, it just seemed different because it was like every level. Your linebackers are getting interceptions. Your linebackers are getting sacks, tackles for loss. Your D line, after you lost everybody, they're not just getting smushed and getting pushed out the way on runs. Your corners, Diggs coming back from an injury, and you got a rookie back there. As Mike Zimmer says, like, I don't care. I'm still putting the rookie out there. You got your 8-year vet Jay Lou looking like he's in his first year, going down there head hunting, getting tackles on running backs. Like, you got everybody fired up, looking great, and you're putting them in situations to be great, and you're moving Michael around, which we didn't see at all with Dan Quinn a lot of, if we did at all. Like, he's moving him all around. He was dropping back. He's over here. He's over there. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's keeping, the defense, head on the swivel as well. And not just here are these cookie cutter plays that we're going to run during the week. And then when we get into game situations, I'm not going to switch it up and depending on how the game flow is going. Like, it's just going to be these same calls. So
right.
Then once that, because we had them on the run in the first half, and towards the end, once they got the field goal out of there, when Mike McCarthy bluffed that up, they started getting a little bit of momentum. They started getting a rhythm, and they started being more dominant and getting third and outs, getting us on third and outs, and only allowing us to get in field goal range. That's what I'm saying. Mike McCarthy didn't get none of that going. It was like Josh likes to say that you in the first few series, everything was scripted. Everything was scripted, and the players had to play above that. But Mike McCarthy, to me, didn't do anything fantastic. He didn't do anything praiseworthy. I can't give him no credit. Zeke did what Zeke is gonna do.
Well, I don't know if Zeke did all of that, but I give it. But Joshua, check this out.
No, I'm saying Zeke's just gonna do. We all expect if Zeke gets in the red zone, Zeke's gonna score. No.
Yeah, we thought that. We felt that. We all felt that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, I thought you meant when Zeke gonna do what he's doing, but I didn't know you was talking about red zone. I didn't know that.
No, I'm talking about like in red zone territory.
Oh, okay, yeah,
like,
but that's why I believe that's why we went and got him. But Joshua, so based on that you can talk about your boy McCarthy if you want to, but I wanna touch down on some seriousness with what Joshua was saying, because I know you was rating our defense pretty low. You were saying top 15, 20, based on what you saw this past Sunday. Do you think we're going to take what we did Sunday, the scheme Jordan was talking about, and the players playing what great players do? Do you think we're going to carry that next week and be the exact same dominance against the Saints?
I think that you'll see, in some cases, it'll carry over, right? I do think that. you'll see the I do think that you'll see some of it carry over because these were cover sacks. These weren't like, okay, the D line's just being the D line, and hey, we're just depending on the offense scoring a lot of points, and then they were just gonna have to pass the ball all the time, right? So these sacks were like coverage sacks. They weren't like, okay, we got to pass, and but I don't. But Mika Parsons is so fast that he's getting to the quarterback. No, the reason why some of these sacks were happening is because they were covered. Mike Zimmer had exotic blitzes. He had exotic looks. I mean, there's like a lot of things. Things were going everywhere. You were confusing the quarterback over and over again, and that's why
you're confusing the O-line.
And confusing the O-line too, and that's why he was holding on to the ball for a little longer than normal. It wasn't because of the fact that like nobody was getting open. It was just the looks were. It was just the scheme in itself. So I do think that in some cases it's going to carry over. I mean, but we have to realize that Derek Carr is a veteran quarterback, right? So he's seen things. He's seen Mike Zimmer before, right? He hasn't seen Mike Zimmer with this defense, but he's seen Mike Zimmer before. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. But I do think that you'll have some carryover. But from what they said, and this should excite everybody, they asked Mika Parsons and Trayvon Diggs like how the play scheme was for them, and they were like, they loved it, and they said that the scariest part is that was even the 10% of the plays that he was calling.
What?
So you're gonna see see new looks. You're gonna see new looks next week.
And
so
that should give a
lot of people hope.
Drew Brees was just on a podcast too. Drew Brees was just on a podcast too, giving Mike Zimmer praise and saying every time he played Mike Zimmer, you never know what he was gonna do. You never know what looks you were gonna get. It was always a chess match playing Mike Zimmer, and that just made me even more fired up going into the Saints game because I don't believe that Derek Carr is on the level of a Drew Brees where he can just sit there and pick you apart. He's a really good quarterback, but those sometimes he gets in those, plays hero ball and gets in those tendencies. And I think we're gonna get picks this game because I think our corners are better than their receivers, and that's saying something with my rookie corner that we have over here. And it Diggs it's a no-fly zone if you try to throw deep. I don't think they played Carolina. They did fantastic at Carolina. Everything worked well for them. I think our biggest thing is seeing how I think the Saints team is the only way they're gonna beat us is if we give up the run to Alvin Kamara. Like this is gonna be the test for our defense to see if they can stop the run with Alvin Kamara. I don't think the Saints has the greatest of O-lines, so that's also might be their little Achilles heel there. But they have great outside players. They have really good outside players. They got skilled possession players. But at the end of the day, it's a more seasoned veteran quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see. I give the edge to our defense over their offense. It's going to be really interesting and fun to see what they do. I expect them to just get that offense up out of here. But I'm gonna knock on wood too because I said the same thing last year when we played the Cardinals and we stunk it up. But I don't think we'll do that with Mike Zimmer on defense.
Well, I know you're about to say something, Joshua. It looked like you pondering something. But before I go, before I let you get your point across here, that's one thing that I was looking at, and I noticed that we didn't, Chubb wasn't there. Their running back. And how are we gonna come out when we go get some formidable, some talented running backs and see how we fare against that, because we didn't see that against to Cleveland. So I know we had on the offensive side we had the throwing that and that Boyd Jackson to worry about, but other than that, did we see a complete offense yet? And that's what I'm concerned. That's what I want to see before I make any difference. But go ahead, Joshua. What were you about to say?
But I will say this, right? This is going to be a better litmus test of how your defense is, because there's nothing to poo poo about the Saints. I mean, the Saints were like, since like week 13 or 14, they were like the number one offense. Like 13 last year, week 12 last year, they were number one offense. So there's nothing to like sneeze about and be like, okay, this is like, you know, going to be like easy day for the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to give them looks, right? They're going to give the Dallas Cowboys looks. But the thing is, I think the Dallas Cowboys will be ready, right? They're going to score touchdowns, right? So I don't want like the average viewer to be like, all right, the Dallas Cowboys is going to lock them down or whatever like that, right? They're going to score touchdowns on the Dallas Cowboys
I
defense.
think that.
Huh? You think that they're going to score? Or you don't think that they're going to score?
I don't think they get more than 16, 17 points.
Oh no, I think they're going to get more than
well, that's
16
two
points.
touchdowns.
Yeah, that's
Right.
2 touchdowns. I'll give them that.
But it remains to be seen, right? And I'm only saying this based off of like what I've seen in the past, right? And I'm not convinced yet that the Dallas Cowboys have definitely locked down or changed their whole aspect on defending against the run, right? And we're going to see tomorrow if they defend against the run, right? But I just do think that the Saints offense has very good, and you got to remember, they have Clint Kubiak as their offensive coordinator. And for all you viewers that don't know about Clint Kubiak, he came from under the coaching tree of the Shanahans. And we've all seen how Shanahan has, with the 49ers, has their offense looking like and how exotic their running backs and running back plays are. So be forewarned about that because they're going to have some pretty good exotic like running plays. So we'll see.
Okay, that's going to be that's very interesting, and I am so ready to see them guys against that type of an offense. You know, what I'm saying, but I'm on a kind of like on a Jordan Tilton hill because I don't see them scoring a lot. I don't. Just based on what I saw. I am curious about the run game, but I really don't think, I think them boys is going to get, after I saw Overshawn being like the old, what's the guy with the hair from I can't remember his name, from Pittsburgh Steelers.
Palomalu?
Man, look.
For the Steelers?
Yes. Overshawn was all over the place, man. He was all over the place, and I was like, man, where did this guy come from? Who is this? Making a name for himself. Before it'd be like, okay, you got your Lawrence, you got your Mikas, but Overshawn, I mean, he led with tackles, man. I mean, he just came out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, I see you, Zimri. I see you get all you boys fired up. So I don't, and I ask you guys that, do you think it's going to carry over to the next game? Just the mindset of the defense, the way they're going into the game. If they have anything close to that type of mindset going into, I'm gonna get at you, I'm coming to get you type of atmosphere. If they have that kind of mindset, man, I don't see them scoring no more than 13 points. I really don't. Now, if they do, hey, next our next podcast, I'm gonna have to go ahead and eat crow. But right now, I don't see. I think we're gonna be that dominant. Hear me now. I believe we're going to be that dominant. Now, we'll see what we do on our offense, and that's going to help a lot. It's really going to help a lot how dominant we are because we stay on the field. That means our defense is going to be healthy. When we come out there, we're going to be ready to play, and then we get on the field, we stay, we have a lot of time of possessions. So that's going to, it's going to go back to Dak and our running game and McCarthy, how the schemes that we playing, all of that, because it's going to be a team squad. But I just believe that's how we're coming out this game. What you say? What you say about that?
I mean, I do think that there's room for hope, right? But I go things I've seen in the past. And so like that's right. It's very plausible that they can dominate, but it's also very plausible that the other team can dominate too if they're not disciplined enough, right? But what gives me hope is that your linebacker is very experienced, right, with a lot of play. So like that's going to help your other linebacker, which is the great thing, right? So for Overshawn, right, you don't have to give him the position to think, like the position that he has to think a lot. Okay, what's this? What's this? All you have to do is like, okay, you're gonna play this and you're gonna attack. Anything that comes this way, you're just going to attack, right? You leave the thinking for like your uh, Eric Kendricks of the world, right? Your Mika Parsons of the world, and like your safeties or whatever like that, right? But even then, like while it's conservative, it's still like okay, he has this. How should I say? Mike Zimmer has this where like even if you do mess up, uh, it's not gonna hurt you like significantly, right? Like if you bust on a play, there's always somebody behind you to like pick it up, right? So we'll see how disciplined this team is because they're going to have the carrot and stick type of play when it comes to the offense. They're going to play. They're going to have a lot of motions. They're going to have a lot of like misdirections, and it's up to the Cowboys defense just to block all that the magic tricks out and actually get to the ball. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, we will because one thing I would like to add that and one thing what made me also made me think the way I was thinking is the fact that if we played last week at home and we did that, and this week we was playing on the road, that'd have me thinking a different way. But we was on the road last week, and this week
That
we're
is
gonna
very
be at
true
home.
too.
So that in itself, I'm like, okay, we took that on the road. We took that on the road. Yeah, it was the first game. Everybody trying to get this stuff together, but we was on the road. We came out. We had our stuff together. Now when we play home, I'm just saying we're gonna have a hair fraction of a more enthused out there, and I think them boys is going to be this more because they'll be home. I don't know. That just that's just how I look at it when I think about that the mindset of those guys when they go because it's going to be a home game, man, and we have a record of
That
doing
plays a
some great
role to
things at
it.
home. So it's gonna
Wait,
be.
but let me ask you the question.
Go ahead.
And once again, last wet blanket of the group, right? What happened to the last home game?
Oh well, see, look, yeah,
That's
that was
That's the playoffs. I could say this. The season is different from the playoffs. When we're in the playoffs, we're a different team from how we are in the season. So,
which is sad. Which is sad.
yeah.
Which is sad. But hopefully, we got those boys. They got their money now, and like Dak said, man. Look, I'm not worried about the money, man. I got to get out there and do my part. I got to go out and do my part now. So I'm like, okay, that's the way to think. I just hope you feel that and you can go and you can and portray that on the field.
And emulate that. Yeah.
But but it's going to be a while before we able to figure that out because Dak is good on the off season. I mean, not off season, but the regular season. So it's all of this. We're gonna be on the same old whirlwind. We're gonna be going. We're gonna watch. We're gonna win games. I believe we're gonna win games, and we're gonna be there. And we're gonna have to sit there and wait. It's one of the process. We're gonna have to sit there and wait, man, until we make it to the playoffs, to the the postseason, and then see what he does. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I have great confidence that this boy gonna go out there and show out. So because that's what he do. I mean, he gonna show out. So so with that. I got to ask these questions to both of you because, I got to know, man. I got to know if you guys made a change. There's only one game. One game. That's all it was. One game. That's all we played. One game. But you saw what we did in that one game on the road against the number one the number one defensive team coming from last season. With that being said, because none of us thought that they was going to win this game. So, and that's just truth. Unless somebody going to tell me now that you thought that Dallas was going to win this game. I didn't think they was going to win. I wanted them to win, but I didn't think they was going to win. But beyond that, do you think, because last time you guys had 6-6, I think last week Jordan made a change. What do you see us winning more games now after the first season? I mean, after the first game, did you have before? I mean, did you have after now? Come on, talk to me.
I'll go first. I just think I'm still gonna go with it until I get blue in the face. Right.
So
I
6
think
games.
it's more.
You still at 6 games.
this game is more about the Browns than it does about the Dallas Cowboys.
Nah, man,
I'm sorry.
you cannot believe the way our defense is played. You're gonna say that's all on Cleveland.
That's
Okay. Let me
That's how he thought.
let me
But
ask you this
right.
question.
That's how you thought.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think there was throws that, and you saw how Deshaun Watson played,
Yeah, I did.
right?
Yeah.
Do you think that there were some throws that were like where people are wide open? I would say more than about 3 or 4 throws, more than that, or 5 throws that people were wide open that he just missed on, or he overthrew, or whatever like that, and that was even cause of the pressures at all.
You say it wasn't cause of the pressure?
I don't remember like I don't remember him missing guys wide open. I mean, there was shots here and there, but it was his internal. To me, it was his internal clock was already like, I gotta hurry up and get this ball out as soon as possible.
Exactly.
So if I see anyone open, I'm just launching it because he was frustrated. Like I felt bad for Deshaun Watson after this game. Like he was getting lit up. Like nobody was coming to save him.
He got sacked 6 times.
Not even. Yeah, and then that's just sacks because he got hit a couple more times.
Micah Parsons reached him 8 times alone.
And then I told Josh, I can't remember. I think it was I don't know if it was Rogers, Joseph, or
D-Law?
Mazi.
Mazi.
No, Mazi. It was one of our D tackles. Put all 300-something pounds. It was all 300 pounds on him. And I was like,
Joseph.
gosh, dang. Yeah, it was okay, Joseph. Hey, he hit him so hard. I'm 100% certain he lost years off his life. Cause I was like, jeez. So to me, like I felt like it was unfair to even judge Deshaun Watson off this game because the D line and the linebackers was just all over him. And then, like you said, Josh, the corners were covering too. So, like, I can't follow him for missing a couple throws. Like, I feel like that's gonna happen to Derek Carr because I think their offensive line might be a little bit better than
Cleveland,
the Browns, but I don't think they're that much better than Cleveland's.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
But I do. And I do have to say too.
I think they're probably. I think all things considered, when healthy, and I know this sounds crazy, but when healthy, when the if both the tackles were healthy, I think the Browns' offensive line is better than the Saints' offensive line. That's just. But
when they're healthy,
I would say that.
When they're healthy.
Yeah, when they're healthy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's bad to have one guy out, but have both your left and right tackle out. That's not gonna.
Yeah, I would say that.
So Derek Carr could end up in the same position as Watson, where he's running for his life, and so now his internal clock is sped up, and anytime, like I gotta get help from my receivers, and that's the thing too, like Deshaun Watson doesn't have off-scripted receivers. Like Amari Cooper is very much a scripted receiver who's got to get in his route. So he's a route technician, right? So it's timing. Yeah. That's why he worked so well with Dak because the timing was there. He's not a Des Bryant where, hey, if it goes to the fan, I can just throw it up and he gonna go get it. Or a Tyreek Hill, he's just gonna go get underneath the ball and go get it. Like he don't have those type of players. And like I said last week, we were talking about how good Deshaun Watson is compared to Dak. They were really close early in the years. Now Dak has kind of left him. But I also think the play calling did not help whatsoever. Like they did nothing to help. He was out. They like hung him out there to dry. Like how you let your quarterback hit the floor that many times, man? Like it was bad. It was like Dak in Atlanta, where it was just like throw in the towel, Rocky. Like it was bad. Like. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Josh. You can't base everything off the Cleveland game, but for me, I did increase. I will say I can see them winning more games now. I can see them getting to 12, and I can still see them losing in the first round of the playoffs too. Just by what I saw from Mike McCarthy. But just with the defense alone, I could see them reaching 12 wins.
Okay.
Like I could see them. The only teams I could see them losing to with this defense, if the defense keeps on the same track and same pace as they're playing right now, like I don't expect them every week to get 6 sacks and 2 interceptions. But if they keep applying pressure and just playing solid football, I could see them beating everybody except for 49ers, Lions, Steelers, and Ravens. Like I feel like those games, all those games outside of the 49ers game,
we play all
because
of
they
them.
always have our
We play all of them this
yeah,
season.
oh yeah, we play all of them as soon as after the Saints game.
If they
It's
dominate,
after the Saints
if they dominate this next game, you guys are going to be surprised on what I'm going to say about if they dominate this next game. You're going to be very surprised on what I'm going to say about the next game.
Yeah,
on both sides, or
Probably
just
not, actually.
on either side.
Probably
on
not.
both sides together, or just one side.
I would say
defense dominates.
I'm not
holds
including the
Saints.
special teams. I'm not including the special teams.
No, I'm not including. I'm saying both offense and defense. Like, say defense holds them to 10 points, and the offense only scores.
I would say if they hold
points.
them to 15, if they hold them to 17 points,
13.
and the offense dominate, if they hold them to 17 points,
13.
I'm saying the offense is not dominant. I'm saying either or.
I'm saying if they hold them to 17 points and the offense dominates,
I'm giving you 2 scenarios.
You could be okay.
Okay, yeah. Of course you would be. Of course you'd be hyped. But say this. Say they hold them to 13 points and Dallas only wins by 1 point. They have 14 points.
No.
Or say the opposite. Say they get 21 points, but Dallas puts up 28.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Because I could see either scenario going out, and I still.
I could see that. I'm saying, can I see the scenario? You asking me if I can see that scenario? I can see that scenario.
No. I'm saying I'm saying your confidence changing.
No,
based on
that my confidence will not change. At least for the following game, no. No, it would not change. But if they win in a considerable fashion, if they completely just dominate on them guys, then yes, I will definitely.
Why? Is it because you have the Saints as like a high, a good tier caliber team? Because
I think that this offense.
I think they're a mid-level
this offense is right. I can agree with that, but I think that this offense is. I'm not saying people shouldn't sleep on it, but I think they're a sleeper team, and I think that they're actually a really good team. It's just that, and if this. Yeah, this team is really, and you guys are going to see on tomorrow on offense that
I'm not saying that
their running game is very good, and their passing game and
their running game was very good versus the Panthers, but last year they were very inconsistent, and that's why they were 9-8.
Okay,
but
we all can agree that Derek
Carr
is
inconsistent.
And I like how you said that, because I think we're all in agreement that Derek Carr is probably like the mid-tier quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would say that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in order for people like quarterbacks like Derek Carr to be successful, what has to happen?
Well, you're gonna have to have a line for one.
Yeah, you have to have a line. You have to have a good run game.
So you had to have a line.
Have to have a good line.
Okay.
Have to have a good run game.
Right.
And we just said that they're, and we said that we already established that they don't have the best of line. They have probably a solid line that will be had.
But they have a really good run game. And I think I don't think
they're a really good run game.
If you want to stop Derek Carr,
I don't think that Saints run game is the same as when Drew was there. Like I think they have a really good running back, but I don't think that the run game is really, really good. Like I don't view them in the same light as I view a San Francisco or as a Ravens that's coming up.
But as I said before, you got Clint Kubiak, who was of the San Francisco's coaching staff, right?
Yeah.
Right, but wasn't he there last year?
Clint Kubiak?
Yeah.
You talking about the 49ers? Was he there last year?
No, was he there last year with the Saints? I think he was, wasn't he?
I think he was. No, I don't think so. I think he was with the um I think he was with the 49ers. I really do.
I don't think he was with the 49ers last year.
I'm pretty
But
sure he was with the
regard,
49ers. Yeah, he was with the 49ers last year. He was with the 49ers last year. So that's one of these things that, you're just going to have to be cognizant of and being like, okay, look, we're going to have to stop the run. And because they also do have Chris Olave on the other side of the field,
right, but
right?
I think Chris Olave is getting shut down.
And
I don't view their
if you
receivers.
shut down Chris Olave and stop the running game, I think you have a very good chance of being successful.
I don't think Chris Olave is there yet in the upper echelon tiers. I still think he's growing and grooming himself to potentially be, but I don't think he's there yet. And what I saw from Diggs last week and Carson last week.
It's funny that you said Diggs because they're like, so what do you think about, what do you think about Chris Olave? And he's like, is this a trick question? Because he was like, yes, he's a very good wide receiver. So to let you guys know, like, don't.
Yeah, he's a very good wide receiver. Okay, but I wouldn't even say he's very good. I think he's getting there. I think he's being nice and saying that. I don't think he's there yet. Because when you say very good, I'm thinking you're top 10. I don't think he's not there yet. But
look,
I think that might be psychological mind play, because I think that Diggs wants them to throw deep, which they like to throw deep with Olave. He's a big, tall receiver. And what does Diggs love to do? He loves to go out and get deep balls. So so we'll see, because that's why I said everything's going to come down to how good the run game is in order to beat us. Because I right now don't see it. I can see it because we have Cardinals games, but I don't see it based on the first game.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have
and
it.
I would say this:
Well,
the reason why you have that Cardinals game is because, in fact, there was like no O line. There was a lot of pieces missing. I'm just gonna say that there was a lot of pieces.
Yeah, but
missing.
your defense still really didn't show up the way they needed to help put that game all the way away.
That's a good point.
All right. Well, here we go. The boys here setting it straight with fam. Man, you know what? I think we might have to try to get together again, maybe, after the game, and try to do a quick take on how them boys do, because, we was, based on what we've seen, so far and what we think is going to happen tomorrow, man, it's going to be exciting. And I can't wait. What we need to do, we need to go ahead, like Jordan, you would keep on telling me what we need to do is start doing this live, and so we get people to come on and join us all the time instead of doing this way. And I think we might just go ahead and start doing this and doing the game. But yeah, we're gonna try to get together tomorrow, man, and after the game, what I'm saying, after we not see what's happening, and then maybe we can get it while the game is going. I don't know. But check this out.
Who knows?
Yeah, but check this out. We are the boys setting it straight with fam, my boy Joshua and Jordan here again, setting it straight. And if you want to go ahead and if you like what we're doing, go ahead and hit that like button on the bottom down there. And then if you haven't subscribed yet, you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. So every time we put something out, you guys will know it. You guys can share the news with us, because we always try to stay in the news. So you guys do that thing. Holla at you. Peace.